This is Gary Smith of Ratty Smith Funeral Home. We're honored to be sponsoring the Veteran of the Month project here on WYEA 106.5. All military veterans deserve our deepest respect, recognition, and admiration for the decision they made to serve, defend, and protect our country. It's an honor to be a part of sharing some of their stories.
Our Veteran of the Month for October is Ross R.C. Wakefield. Mr. Wakefield served in the 12th Army Air Corps during World War II as a tail gunner on a B-24 bomber. While serving in the European theater on his 6th bombing mission, his plane sustained damage, resulting in the loss of fuel. The crew was then ordered to bail out before going down in the Adriatic Sea. Mr. Wakefield and 5 other crew members were taken as prisoners of war, where they remained until they were freed by Russian soldiers in 1945. Mr. Wakefield tells us more in his own words.
I was in the old Army Air Corps, and I volunteered when I was 17. I did not want to get drafted at that time. The draft board would have me by the nape of the neck. B-24 bomber. I was tail gunner that particular day. I had also gone through aircraft mechanic school. Pretty well on the plane, because it's nothing uncommon that somebody would get hurt. I had to know a little bit about first aid and many bullets that are flying everywhere. That's why I said, scary, yeah, but you have to shoot back at them, keep them off your back. Finally, they just loaded us up on a troop train, and we went to Newport News, Virginia, put us in the hold of an old Liberty ship. We wallowed around dodging submarines. Till we finally got to Oran, Algiers. The day that we got shot up, we lost several airplanes that day. We had to go right over the center of the target to get rid of those dang bombs. As we learned pretty well that when you turn those things loose, that old airplane was hit us. Well, you're glad to get out of there, you know, because they had so many anti-aircraft guns. What happened was that our fuel was in the tanks on the wings, and you get holes in that, and we just didn't have enough fuel. We were 2 hours off of the target, headed back home before we just ran out of fuel. 10 minutes of fuel left, and we're just approaching the Adriatic Sea. If you don't know how to swim, you better get your butt out of here right now. It's time to go. Get out of this thing. Renegades of all things, Yugoslav renegades. Everywhere, kill or steal anything. They're hungry. They didn't have no way of feeding themselves. They rounded up. See, we were scattered at that altitude. We were scattered. Guy, and I said, Tito. And a big frown came on his face. He said, Tito. I knew I was the wrong crowd. They really traded us to the Germans for food. Our own planes strafed us going up across. They didn't know who was in the dang train, you know. We just in the wrong place at the right time. 900 miles up across Europe, locked in those boxcars. Finally wound up at Barth, Germany, a little town up on the Baltic Sea. That was it till the Russians came through and ran all the guards. Here came a Sherman tank, quote, Lend-Lease program. Whoever the idiot was on that old Sherman tank, he didn't like the idea of all that fence around the guard towers and so on. He just fired it up and ran around and around and around, just tearing the scattered wire guard houses. The 8th Air Force had the responsibility of flying us out. And those old B-17s, and they'd put a plywood floor in the bomb bay. 30 of us could stand in on that plywood floor. They would not feed us because we had not had food so long. It'd make you sick. Make us stand in line and give us a little bit of food. A few hours later, you live a little bit more. And so from there, back to New York, back to Atlanta, home.
Congratulations to Ross R.C. Wakefield, our Veteran of the Month for October.
We'd also like to thank American Legion Post 45 for helping with the selection process. This is Gary Smith of Ratty Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga.